Roblox Jailbreak has just recently turned 7 years old, and over the last 7 years we've gotten a bunch of new items added to the game. And well, luckily for me, I've managed to get literally every item in the game right now from every category. I have every item excluding the ones from crew battles. So today we'll be going over all of the rarest items in the game right now from each category, textures, spoilers, body colors, all of that stuff. But before we get into this, make sure to put what you guys think are the rarest items in Roblox Jailbreak right now down below in the comments. And yeah, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into this. So let's go ahead and start off small here with the rarest item in the drift category. So the rarest drift in Roblox Jailbreak right now is the Spark Drift, and that's just mainly because it was a season pass exclusive at a higher level. Obviously, not everyone is able to get a season pass for every season of Roblox Jailbreak. It is quite expensive, 400 Robux every season. And as I said, it was also at a higher level, which caused it to be just a little bit harder to get as well, so that's probably what caused it to be one of the rarer items in the game. I'm also pretty sure that it's actually one of the only limited drifts in the entire game, so there's not really any competition for it anyways. So yeah, that's the rarest drift in the entire game right now. Let's go ahead and go on to the color here, the rarest color in the entire game. And well, to no one's surprise, that is Hyper Pink level 5, and obviously it's a hyperchrome because hyperchromes are incredibly rare nowadays. Especially with the new robbery system and it only being obtainable on the criminal team, it makes getting hyperchromes a lot harder than it used to be. Obviously, the actual rarest color in the entire game would be Hypershift because that's probably the hardest item to get in the entire game, but if we're just going for individual items, that is Hyper Pink level 5. And actually, while we're on the topic of hyperchromes, if you guys want a good hyperchrome grinding strategy, I'd recommend using the mansion. And that's just because it gives you literally every hyperchrome in the entire game, so it's extremely useful for grinding hypers. I do actually have a few videos on the channel about how to beat the mansion extremely easily, so if you want to get some quick hyperchromes, then make sure to watch one of those videos. Now in the horn category here, we have the Cucaracha horn. So the main reason this is the rarest horn in the entire game is because it was actually a top % reward in Season 9. And obviously top % rewards are only given to like the top 2 to 5% players in the entire game, so it was quite rare. And just like the drifts, there aren't actually too many horns in the game either that are limited, so that's also another thing, there isn't much competition anyways. So yeah, that's the rarest horn in the entire game here. Moving on to the tire style and stickers. So the rarest tire style in the entire game is the spiked tire style because it was a season pass exclusive at a higher level. And the blue 50 was the rarest tire sticker because it required max level on the police team in 2019, which was very, very difficult back then. If you guys aren't aware, back in 2019, the police team was very, very underpowered and it was really difficult to grind those levels. Not to mention, but the police team didn't even get paid much back then either, so it wasn't really worth your time. So yeah, those are the rarest tire stickers and tire styles, blue 50 and spiked. Now next up here for the rarest furniture item in the entire game, it's actually kind of interesting. It's the Noob Scream item from Season 5. The main reason for that is because it was actually a season pass exclusive, and just like the other items, it was also at a higher level. And like I explained before, not everyone could actually get a season pass for every season of Jailbreak, which fair enough, it is quite expensive. As I said, 400 Robux is quite a lot. And like I said, it was also at a higher level, so it did take a little bit longer to grind for, so that's why it's a little bit more rare. But now moving on to the rarest rim in the entire game, now it's pretty obvious, it's the spinner rims. And the way you got this rim was actually really, really interesting. It was only obtainable for a limited time. Actually, it was only obtainable for a week back in 2017. And then the way you got the item was actually through the most expensive safe in the game back then, which was $15,000. And obviously back then, $15,000 was a lot more to ask for. It was worth a lot more and it was a lot harder to get. Not to mention, but since it was also a safe, you also had to gamble for it, which means that you never had a full chance of getting it, and it was completely random each time, so it was really, really hard to get. So yeah, that's why the spinner rims are just incredibly rare. They were incredibly hard to get, and obviously since they were so hard to get, they have that incredible value. Really, the only people that got it were the people that already had a bunch of money at the time that it became limited, so that's why most people that have a lot of money actually have it. So yeah, that's why the spinner rims are one of the rarest items in the game. Honestly, I think Badimo should do more of that. Having limited items in safes would be really, really cool because right now, safes don't really have much of a use besides the vehicles in them, which are also kind of crap. So yeah, it would be pretty cool to see Badimo put a limited item into the safe every now and again. Obviously not every time because that would get quite annoying. But just every now and again, a limited item that's put in a safe would be pretty nice to see. But now entering the spoilers category, we have the thrusters. So the reason the thrusters is on this list is because it was actually a season pass exclusive back in season 2. Along with that, but it was also level 9 in season 2, so it was really hard to get. And that was also during a time where leveling up was still extremely difficult, and like I said before, season pass exclusives are just kind of naturally more rare. But yeah, the thruster spoiler is actually really cool, and it's probably one of my favorite spoilers in the entire game. They look really nice. And now moving on to the rarest weapon skin here, it's the drip texture. This was obviously added back in the meme season along with the actual drip texture for the cars. And so the main reason this is the rarest weapon skin in the entire game is because it was actually a season pass exclusive. And just like all the other items on this list that were season pass exclusive, it was also at a higher level, which made it harder to get. So yeah, if an item is locked behind the season pass and it's also at a higher level, chances are it's just going to become more rare naturally. And that's pretty much just what ended up happening to the drip weapon skin. And now for the textures category, we have the checker skin, and basically how you got this back in the day was actually playing another game by Badimo. Basically, this other game was just a vehicle demo by Badimo for the car system for Jailbreak. You guys are probably aware of it if you played back then. It was basically just a small car demo base plate. And pretty much whoever played that game would get the checker skin inside of Roblox Jailbreak when it released. But see, here's the thing which actually made this texture rare. So if you wanted to join the vehicle demo game, it actually costed you a bit of Robux. So while the game is cheap to get access to at just 26 Robux, like I said earlier, not everyone is actually able to get Robux. So obviously because of that, most people were completely locked out of the game and unable to get the checker skin, which then caused it to be one of the rarest textures in the entire game, and that's why it's on this list. And like I said, there was literally no other way to get this. Like, the only way you could get this texture was by playing that vehicle demo. There was no thing in Jailbreak that you could use to get it, it was only in that game. But now it's time for what we've all been waiting for, the rarest vehicle in the entire game. And while I'm pretty sure that most of you guys were actually expecting this, but it's the Beam Hybrid, and that's just mainly because Asimo actually said it was the rarest car in the game. Back in 2021 when Season 1 ended, Asimo said on Twitter that the Beam Hybrid was actually the rarest car in the game, but obviously that could change over time. It might not be that way anymore. But you also got to keep in mind Season 1 at that time, at late 2020, was actually really hard because this was the first time the contract system was in the game. It was extremely difficult, not to mention, but the season was actually incredibly short as well. I believe most people got caught off at like level 8 if they didn't have the season pass. It was a giant mess. I'm not going to get into it here, but yeah, it was really hard to do, and that's why the Beam Hybrid is so rare. But yeah, like I said, things do tend to change over time, so the Beam Hybrid might not be the rarest vehicle in the game anymore. It might be something else. So yeah, unless Asimo actually confirms what the rarest vehicle is nowadays, we're just going to have to rely on what we already know and what's confirmed in the trading menus. But yeah, with that, those are all of the rarest items inside of Roblox Jailbreak right now from each category. If you guys like one of these rarest items in the game right now, make sure to put it down below in the comments. And yeah, with that, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.